The Miami Grand Prix was yet another difficult and confusing one for Mercedes. Toto Wolff after the Miami performance called the W14's behavior to be poisonous, but he did provide some insights on the Imola upgrades and how those upgrades will be the next step for the team to unlock a huge amount of understanding. So in today's video, let's talk about why Mercedes had such a poor showing at Miami, and let's find out what Toto Wolff revealed about the team's Imola upgrade package to counter the performance loss. So stick around for the rest of the video. Things started promisingly for the Brackley-based squad at Miami, with Russell and Hamilton first and second at FP1. But the performance took a sharp U-turn as soon as FP2. Rumor was that the team had to adjust the car's ride height to tackle a bit of bouncing. But whatever happened, the car was pointing at the wrong direction up until qualifying, and Hamilton described his second free practice session as a kick in the guts. On a weekend where everyone struggled to a greater or lesser extent, with Red Bull being the first exception, on a low-grip track surface and sometimes tricky wind conditions, Mercedes had more troubles on the circuit that started exposing many of W14's problems. During qualifying at the coastal metropolis, Hamilton was eliminated in Q2 having set the 13th fastest time, thanks to traffic on his outlap which according to Hamilton ruined his preparation. Russell on the other hand did a little better but was only just able to sneak through to Q3. He then qualified 6th, nearly a second off pole sitter Sergio Perez, thanks to Charles Leclerc's crash and Max Verstappen's failure to post a representative time on his first flying lap. In terms of performance deficit, Miami was the worst weekend endured by the Silver Arrows in the 2023 season, just over 1% down when compared with the frontrunners. So, why was Mercedes' performance so bad at Miami? First point to note is the W14's performance on different circuits, as we have seen the German car struggling a lot in rear-limited circuits like Miami and Baku, whereas the car tends to perform better on front-limited circuits such as Albert Park. Why is the W14 having this problem on different racing tracks? That is a concern for Mercedes as the team does not have a comprehensive explanation as to why this is the case. The lack of understanding regarding the car's bizarre performance on different races has been the biggest problem of Mercedes, as it explains why the team was not able to hit the jackpot with the 2022 regulation changes as Red Bull was able to. Toto Wolff has been very critical about the 2023 Mercedes Challenger, and it was no different at Miami, calling the car neither a nice car nor a good car. What troubles more is that Wolff revealed the roots of the problem as he called the lack of understanding. I think that the car is not a nice car, not a good car, he said. It's everywhere. It's the pace, the performance of the car, it's the lack of understanding of the car about why it is not delivering. It is the full spread of activities. I would say the performance is just really bad. At the upcoming Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, Mercedes will introduce its highly anticipated car upgrade which has been in the pipeline since before the Bahrain Grand Prix. Mercedes has confirmed the upgrade will include a new specification of front suspension, new floor specification and new bodywork. But whether the bodywork alterations will include revised side pods, Toto Wolff isn't saying. The side pods of the Mercedes has been a big talking point since Mercedes launched its 2022 car built to the narrow side pod concept. Despite evolving that side pod concept this year with fractionally bulkier side pods, it was a largely carried over design from last year. Then technical director Mike Elliott said during the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend that Mercedes has a different side pod coming, one that requires some changes to parts under the bodywork. Elliott indicated that while these side pods will look a little different to the current specifications, they also won't simply be a copy of the Red Bull concept, rather would only be a Mercedes evolution. Bearing that in mind, Wolff did say in Miami that the side pod design will be more conventional in terms of design. We need to manage our own expectations, because we're bringing an update package that's going to consist of new suspension parts and bodywork and some other things, he said. What we're doing is we're introducing a new bodywork, and we're introducing a new floor and we're doing a new front suspension and that's pretty large. Regardless of what sort of side pods the team brings to the table, changes made to the front suspension and the floor are also equally important as well. The changes made to the front suspension and the new floor are expected to improve the feel of the car. The engineers back at Brackley will have engineered these new upgrades to try and tackle some of the rear instability issues. The team will also try to hopefully allow the car to run a little bit lower to the ground. After all, with ground effect cars, it is evident that the lower you can run the car, then the more downforce they produce, provided the car's mechanical platform is stable and is able to prevent problems such as porpoising and bouncing. Toto Wolff's hope is that this new upgrade will create a new baseline for the car. Even more importantly, Toto believes that this upgrade package will eliminate the question marks and variables that have led to confusion about the performance of the Mercedes W14. But what I'm looking forward to is that we take certain variables off the table where we believe we could have introduced something that we don't understand in the car. I am hoping we can go more to a stable platform, and then we should see where the baseline is and what we can do from there. Mercedes anticipates an instant boost in performance at Imola due to improvements in aerodynamics and behavior, as well as more stability as a result of the platform control modifications made to the front suspension. The improvements have proved to be quite promising in simulation, as every Mercedes team member is counting the days for the upgrades to arrive. Not only are the upgrades expected to provide a performance boost, the upgrades are expected to provide a boost in car understanding. Wolff describes this Imola update as a large surgery on a poisonous car, with the goal of increasing downforce and operating windows. That's why the upgrade that we're bringing is going to help us to set the direction, and to understand the various areas that we believe could play a role in why the car is so poisonous to drive, he said. But after a lot of bad experiences last season, maybe Toto Wolff has learned a thing or two about making predictions about upgrades in this modern era, as he made quick work of downplaying huge expectations about the upgrades Mercedes is bringing to Imola. Maybe he is expecting this to be a small step into what is about to be a huge leap of performance in the coming races. We need to manage our own expectations, because we're bringing an update package that's going to consist of new suspension parts and bodywork and some other things, he said. But I have never in my 15 years in F1 seen a silver bullet being introduced, where suddenly you unlock half a second of performance. So, I very much doubt that this is going to happen here. If the Imola renovation meets expectations, it will only be a first step. With a car that has the development potential to catch up to Red Bull's level, Mercedes will hopefully be set on the right path. However, there are a few concerns that need to be addressed before Mercedes can understand the car with perfect balance. That will support the course it has chosen and guarantee that it can advance during the remainder of the year. The long-term goal is to return as a title contender, but this won't be achievable until at least 2024. Due to the cost caps restriction, Mercedes will have the opportunity to make significant improvements to the car's architecture that it is currently unable to make. This upgrade is described as a reset for the team. All okay, but even if it succeeds and is the best course of action, Mercedes will still lag behind. Mercedes still has a ways to go since Red Bull is becoming a formidable force to be reckoned with, and because the Milton Keynes-based team is working to improve its car despite the limitations of CFD testing. Red Bull will have had 2 years to get an understanding of these new ground effect aero restrictions by the time Mercedes is able to test a car with all of the changes it wants to make, including the installation of a new chassis on the track the following year. Given how far down the team is currently, a recovery by Mercedes to make up that much ground and catch up to Red Bull would be extraordinary. If they don't fully comprehend the rules in the car when the upgrade package hits the track in Imola, that's a tough ask even by Mercedes standards. Toto Wolff sees this upgrade package at Imola as a reset after its struggles since the introduction of ground effect regulations. While Mercedes is optimistic about what is characterized as its new baseline, could its lack of understanding about the new ground effect regulations make life a little bit difficult for the Silver Arrows to nail its new upgrade package? How much of a performance boost are you expecting from this highly anticipated Imola upgrade package? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section down below. We'd love to discuss it with you. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads, to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula 1 season.